Men don't want a good girl. They want a girl who's going to make them feel good. In this episode, we're going to get into the difference, but if you feel like you are tired of constantly being walked all over, and not necessarily just by men, but in general in life, by your friends, by your family, by men, going from the good girl to someone who's actually in their power and getting everything that they want. So let's talk about it. Welcome back to another episode of Way Too Wifey. I'm your host, respectfully Gabby, and in this podcast, we talk all things life. Guys, I need to get used to this. I'm going to be so honest with you. I'm actually changing the podcast name. I will be probably doing that start of January. A lot of new changes are happening. I am wrapping up with my coaching practice. We're moving into something else. And if you have ever thought about doing coaching, this is the last month, December. I'm not selling any packages after this month. So if you've thought about coaching, if you want to go from an anxious, attached girly to a more secure, attracting everything that she wants in terms of love, now is your time to sign up, because I will not be doing this come January. This is the last time that you will ever be able to purchase this. If you miss this and you're watching this in 2026, or you still want healing, but you want to do it on your own, I still have my Way Too Wifey. My book will always be on sale on Amazon. Again, I will still be talking about the dating stuff, relationships, but it's going to be bigger than that. It's not just dating and relationships anymore. It's all lifestyle, growth mindset, confidence, living abroad, soft girl life. We're getting into everything. I wanted to get into this episode because I feel like Christmas, especially not just Christmas, but the holiday season is the time for giving, right? And I think it just puts into perspective, like, where you've been giving, overpouring, overdoing it, and what you're getting back. And I think, honestly, there's times where you have to be real with yourself and ask yourself, are you giving because it feels good to give, and you really genuinely, from the core of yourself, you can be honest with yourself and say, I'm really not expecting anything back. I really love to give to people that I really care about, and that is great. I'm so happy that those kinds of people exist. If you're giving because you're expecting something in return, whether that's, you want this person to feel appreciative towards you, or you want them to feel like, oh my God, I love this person, or you want them to also give back and pour back into you, or give you a gift, or whatever the case is. Like, if you're giving because you want something back, whether that be appreciation, whether that be a thank you, whether that be a gift, whether that be anything that you want back, and if you can be real with yourself and say, if I give this to someone, whether it be a tangible gift, or you give this person support, advice, whatever, and you can honestly look yourself in the face and be like, I will feel good after doing this, and I will not be disappointed if I don't get anything out of this. If you can give in that capacity, then great. But if you can't give and expect something in return, I always have this conversation with my mom, because she's all about appreciation, the biggest giver. Like, she will give anything to anyone, really, truly, to almost her downfall. In the back of her mind, she tries to deny this, but in the back of her mind, she's like, okay, but if I don't get a thank you out of this, then I'm going to be really upset. If I don't get an appreciation out of this, then I'm going to be really upset. She's not giving because she wants something tangible back. And like, yes, of course, everyone wants appreciation, but you can't expect other people to show up exactly how you want them to show up for you. You're almost setting yourself up for disappointment, because not everyone has the same way of showing appreciation. Sometimes people didn't grow up with manners and a simple thank you. And sometimes the thank you is not good enough, right? Like, sometimes a thank you can go so far. And like, of course, if you want someone to keep pouring into you, small acts of appreciation, small words of appreciation are going to get you a lot further in life, of course. But if you keep giving to someone and you know that they're not showing appreciation and they're shutting down, there's got to be a point in time where you pull back your efforts, because you're realizing that there's some sort of a lopsided relationship that's happening. If it's not a back and forth, then of course you're going to feel drained at a certain point. You can't just keep pouring into someone and giving them everything that you have when you're not getting anything back out of it. I'm not asking for a lot, just a thank you. Like, I get that, trust me, but you're still expecting someone to act in a certain way. And if you don't feel appreciated at all from someone, then you can stop giving and pouring into them. No one's holding a knife at your throat like you have to continue to give all you got to someone. You should want to give because it feels good, not because you're playing tit for tat with someone like, oh, they did this, so now I feel like obligated to do this. If someone buys you a gift for the holidays and now you feel obligated to give them a gift. I think this really stems from people pleasing from the past of like maybe how you grew up or how your parents grew up. But if they've always been the type of people who make you feel bad for not giving or not showing up or, not being supportive, not holding the weight of the world on you, it's going to translate to when you become an adult and you start to feel bad for when you're not giving. If you feel guilty for not giving, that's because there's a lack of boundaries that are being drawn. And you're like, no, I have to, like, it's Christmas, I have to get this person a gift. I'm sorry, but you literally don't have to do anything. You really don't, if you are not in the position to do so. If you're like, no, this is what I do, this is what I like, this makes me feel alive, I love seeing people like so happy with the things, and like even if it's just like a small gesture, if you're giving because you want something out of it or you want something back, or you feel guilty for not giving, and it's not coming from a pure and genuine place, you're not obligated to do it. This also stems from a place of like, maybe your parents made you feel bad for like not being there for them emotionally or not doing exactly what they wanted you to do, or like guilting you into doing something that from your core you don't want to do, like, oh, like give me a hug, but you're like, I don't have that in me right now, I don't want to do that. But then they're like, oh, you're making me feel sad because you're not doing this. Or like, if parents use that terminology with their kids, it translates to people-pleasing behaviors because there was no boundaries. They made you feel guilty for setting boundaries and your own personal boundaries. It's like, sometimes they just don't want to do certain things, and like, you shouldn't feel guilty for not wanting to do certain things. And if you can't do certain things, you shouldn't feel guilty. If anyone else is offended by that, those are not your people. They're only benefiting from you not having boundaries, then those are not your people. I've recently had to step away from certain friendships because I genuinely could not make an event that someone was having, and I wasn't even that close with this person, but someone else got offended that I didn't show up, and I'm like, you don't know the situation that I'm in actually. So if you want to come at me and like make me feel bad for not being able to do something that I really just genuinely couldn't do, then I think that says a little bit more about your people pleasing and your feeling like you didn't want to show up either, and now you're mad at me for not showing up because I'm literally setting a boundary with myself and like what can I do and what can I do, and being real with myself about that. And if someone has something to say about it, and if someone gets upset with you and they can't understand your point of view, then one, they probably have people-pleasing tendencies within themselves that is being triggered because you've set a boundary, or they're trying to make you feel guilty for not getting their needs met, or whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, I've had to take a step back because I'm like, my true friendships, people that are really genuinely there for me and that would do anything for me and like really understand that everything that I do is coming from a pure place. And if I can't do something, or if I really like it's going to affect me mentally, emotionally, financially, like in a negative way, then I have to be the one to put myself first. And if that means that if I can't make an event of someone that I'm not even that close to be real, then I'm not going to do it. I'm so sorry. You got to do what you have to do at the end of the day. Like, show up where it matters. Know that you can't show up for everything, and that's okay. Like, you don't have to be the one to pour it and pour it and pour when you're not really getting much out of it. And just like, if people can show up, I'm so blessed and I'm grateful and I'm thankful that they're able to show up. But if someone can't make it and they're obligated, like, then you know what, maybe I pull back a little bit from the friendship, and I know that it's maybe I'm not as important for you in your life, and that's fine. But I know where I stand, and that's okay too. Like, I feel like birthdays are such a realization of who your true friendships are and who are the people who, you know, could kind of care less. And again, like, if it's truly like my best friends who really would do anything for me, I will go to the end of the earth. I will make sure their birthdays are special. But if I don't really know you that much, I don't feel like indebted to you. There's so much pressure around birthdays to like show up for everyone. And like, I just realized I this year had shown up for like all of the birthdays here in Dubai of like the people that I even just know or I'm not even that close to, and I just still show up because I feel like you know, from past birthdays of like, oh, well, maybe she doesn't have that many friends. Like, I feel obligated to kind of show up. But if it's putting me in a negative position, or I literally just can't do it, or I have something that's really important to me during that time period, then I have to protect my peace at the end of the day. And this is a message to all the people pleasers out there. If there's something that you genuinely can't make and it's a valid excuse as to why you can't make it, then don't show up. But if you're like, if this is one of your like close friends and you're not showing up for events that really matter to them, like their birthdays, their celebrations, their milestones, whatever, and you're not making an effort, like because you emotionally feel drained, like, I'm sorry, but that's where we need to draw the line. Show up when it matters, when you can. If you truly cannot, then you shouldn't feel bad about that. But I really do feel like this comes from a place of wanting to be liked and accepted, or you feel like you're going to lose the people that are important to you. But truly, if they were so important and if they really had your back and really understood where you were at, those are your people. But if they can't understand where you're at, maybe it's time to reevaluate the friendships and the relationships that you have in your life. But if you are like tired of being taken advantage of, and every person you're like, I'm poured so much, the second that you have the idea in your head or you speak out loud, like, I can't believe that I've shown up all of this time for this person and they haven't done anything for me and they're treating me like shit and they're talking to me poorly. I can't believe that they're doing this. You're playing the victim here. And we need to get so honest with ourselves of what role are we playing in our own downfall? Because if you constantly are pointing the finger of like, they're treating me like this and all I've done ever was be nice to them. And the same thing, guys, goes with dating. Men don't want a good girl. They want someone that will make them feel good. And how can you actually show up and make them feel good? Because pouring more into what someone already doesn't appreciate is gonna make you feel drained. It's not gonna earn the respect that you're actually looking for. And in fact, it's doing quite the opposite of making them respect you less because they're not pouring anything back and they feel like they can walk all over you. They think that they can get whatever they want out of you. They think that they can take and take and take. But the problem is when you are in a lopsided relationship, you're gonna feel resentment towards this person at a certain point. Like, why are they treating me like this? Why am I getting the short end of the stick? But all I've done was take care of them and you still feel guilty for not taking care of them and not showing up for them and not, supporting them and doing all the things for them, making their lives easier, making their lives better. Here's the truth of the matter. A woman's purpose in a man's life is to make it better. And I will stand on that hill. A man's purpose in a woman's life is to make it easier. So if you're constantly playing the role of the man and making his life easier, he's going to sit back and enjoy himself. Men are only content and actually happy in relationships when they feel challenged and when they feel like they're in pursuit of something. So if he feels like he doesn't have to do any of the work, all you've done was make his life easier, how do you think he's going to respect you when you have absolutely no boundaries and all you've done the entire relationship was people please? And the same thing goes with outside of dating and any relationship in your life. If you're pouring into your friends, you're always there for them, you're always a shoulder to lean on. And when the second that you need help or the second that you need support from your friends or the person that you're dating, your family relationships, and they neglect you, aren't able to show up for you, and they don't do the same things, it's like you really have to put in perspective of, okay, that's fine. If you can't pour back into me when I need it the most, fine, but I also won't place so much importance in this relationship. And I know that's when I need to start to set the boundaries of I'm going to stop pouring into this. If I don't feel like I'm getting anything out of this and I feel like I'm constantly being the one drained and taken advantage of from this person, then of course I'm going to step back. And this goes back to there's a line between being kind and being the person that is being walked all over. The person that's kind knows when to draw the line. The person that's being walked all over continues to allow people to take advantage of them when they know that it's draining them. You can still be kind and have boundaries, but truly the people that affects or it takes a negative hit on, those are not your people. How to actually make a man feel good in your presence instead of being the one to pour into someone when they're not even acknowledging it. Trust me, I have been in that position so many times where I'm pouring and pouring and pouring. I'm like, at what point I'm like, because here's the thing, especially with women, we pour into people the way that we want to be treated. So we think to ourselves, well, if I pour into him, if I show him how much I care, if I clean up for him, if I make his life easier, then he'll get the hint and he will equally step up. And maybe that's not even in your relationships. Maybe that's with friendships too, where you're constantly giving, you're constantly being the one to, pour in and be there for your friends. And you're like, you know what, when I need that, hopefully they'll be there. But when you need it and they're not there, and the guy that you're dating is taking advantage or he's not acknowledging all the things that you're doing for him, all he does is take and take and take, those are not your people. And here's the thing. During this point, you can set the boundary of like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. Maybe they're still in your life. Maybe they're still a part of what you're doing. Maybe this is the time where you actually self-advocate and speak up for what you need from someone instead of assuming that people get it. Because a lot of times when you're always the person who's taking care of everything and you're so strong and so you can do everything on your own and everything's great, people are just going to assume that you're always good and that you don't need anything from anyone. If you are like, you know what, I would really love a little bit of help in this area of my life, and do you have the capacity for it? Like, are you able to lend a hand? Are you able to help me move? Or are you able to, do something that I really like, give me a lift to the store or whatever because I don't have a car? Like, whatever the case is, small things, you're presenting the problem to someone. If they're like, wow, that sucks, those are not your people. Because I know at the end of the day, the friends that I have in my life, if I'm like, this is really wrong, I really need something from you, or like I need help, like can you at least like help me figure something out? I'm pretty independent and like self-sufficient in most things. But if I'm having an emotional spiral and I need someone to be there for me, I know that every single one of my friends will pick up and talk to me for whatever reason. Don't feel like you have to carry all of the burdens on your own, because people actually want to step up if you allow them and if you give them the chance to show up for you. But I think a lot of times we don't give people enough of an opportunity to do so. If that's the case, fall back and see who actually steps up. Ask for something from your friends, from the guy you're dating, from whoever. Present a problem, a small problem. Like, oh, I don't know where to go for this thing that I'm trying to get done. See who actually steps up and tries to help you, and see who the people are who are like, yeah, that sucks. Because those are the one-sided relationships that will always drain you and always take advantage of your kindness. But do not let people mistake your kindness for weakness, because your kindness should be celebrated, and it shouldn't be like, oh, I hate the fact that I'm so nice. You can be nice. You know what? And everyone wants nice people around. The thing is, you got to have boundaries in every area of your life, or people will continue to take and take and take what they can. The people who you actually allow to show up for you are not only going to like you more because they're doing you a favor, but you're also allowing yourself to see who's actually there for you. Let this be the last year, 2025, that you allow people to walk all over you. If someone's disrespecting you, they've lost access to you. If people aren't giving as much as you're giving and you feel drained at the end of the day, take back your power and make new friends. If the guy that you're dating is only asking of what he can get out of you and isn't giving anything to you in return, pull back your energy. Allow him to work for you, because at the end of the day, people are going to respect you as much as you respect for yourself. And if you continue to play the victim, you're never going to get anywhere besides walking all over. That is it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you got some kind of value out of this. And if you have, please leave that 5-star rating, leave that thumbs up, depending on where you're watching this. Hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications so you'll never miss another episode. Leave a follow on Instagram, TikTok at Respectfully Gabby, and I will see you all next Tuesday.